Hello, Westchester. My name is Samara Rosenfeld, here hosting this week's episode of Sports Talk Live at Westchester University. We hope you enjoyed last week's episode and were able to come out to some of the games around campus and show your support. Today, we are going to be talking about the men and women's basketball team season openers this past weekend. Also, we will take a brief look at the field hockey team and soccer as the NCAA airs their election show today. And of course, we'll sit down and discuss the football team's big game against Bloomsburg, and even talk with some fans asking how they felt during halftime of the game. Ending the show, we will take a look at our own Philadelphia Eagles, and for the first time this season, the 76ers. I'm joined here today with my two co-hosts,
Matt
and Evan.
So, let's talk some sports.
Okay, well, before we get started, before the football game, we asked some of you guys what you thought the score of the game was going to be. So let's see what you had to say.
So what do you guys think that the final score will be?
Both of us think it's going to be 28-24 Westchester.
Final score is going to probably be 34-20 or 34-24 Westchester.
27-21 Westchester.
28-24 Westchester.
How do you think the game is going so far?
I think they could be doing a little better. I think the defense is just doing a little poor right now.
Pretty intense so far. I'm having fun.
It's going good. Hopefully, we can pull out this win, but it's a fun time as always.
Yeah, a couple of little mistakes, but Westchester will fix
And what do you guys think of the team being undefeated right now?
It's a great feeling. I mean, since 1976, they've been undefeated. It's a great feeling to be a part of that. We're excited to be 9-0, so 10-0. We're excited to be 10-0, hopefully.
I think it's really fun to support a team that's so successful and doing so well.
No surprise there. I mean, come on, Westchester undefeated.
It's awesome to watch so far, and I hope they can keep pulling it out, keep making it through the playoffs now after this.
It's pretty exciting because it's the first time for in history or in a while, so good for them.
Thank you guys for your input. Westchester lost to Bloomsburg this weekend, 31-28. It was a really disappointing loss for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, I went out, I bundled up in all of my gear.
It was cold.
I was freezing, and I stayed the entire game. I was a little bit disappointed in the performance, Sean McCartney was back in the game. He threw 16 for 26. He had 305 yards passing,
right.
But I think that they should have thrown more. Our all-star running back, Rondell White, only had 88 yards. He was being held up a lot, so I think that they definitely should have put the ball in the air a little bit more.
Definitely.
Yeah, he had a little bit of a down game. Usually he has a couple more yards than that, and their running back really did a lot of damage. He's a real star player, one of the best running backs in the nation, and we had trouble stopping him, and then even when we did stop him, we had trouble protecting against the deep ball. Westchester's secondary didn't really show up as anticipated, and that was really detrimental to their
Yeah,
outcome.
exactly. It was a really disappointing loss. I know all the fans. It was packed there.
I'm here with Eddie Elliott today after the game against Bloomsburg University. He was our first touchdown in the first half. Eddie, this was a nail-biting game. I mean, everyone in the crowd was standing up cheering for you guys. Were there any nerves before or during the game that you guys felt?
Nah, we're waiting for this game all week. All year we've been working towards this game. We took it like every other game. There was no nerves before the game.
How do you prepare for a game as this one? I mean, as big as this one with all of this crowd. What do you guys do to prepare?
Prepare the same every week. Try and get a W every single week. It's not really different this week just because it's Bloomsburg. I mean, try and get the W every single week.
I know the season's almost over, but is there anything you guys can improve on for your game next week against Clarion?
Got to get the W. I hope to see Bloomsburg in the playoffs next week.
All right. Thanks, Eddie. Have a nice season, and we'll talk to you later. I'm Amber Key, and back to the studio.
The football team ends their regular season this upcoming Saturday. They will be playing Clarion University, and kickoff for that is at 12. So hopefully you guys can all come out to that one. Switching over to field hockey, the field hockey team, they lost against Millersville this week. They were shut out 1-0. It was really disappointing. We were hoping that we could beat Millersville this week.
Yeah, Millersville actually shut out Westchester 3 times this season, and they're playing Millersville again. So hopefully they could do a little bit better than
hopefully fourth time's a charm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're the two-time defending champions, so they're a pretty resilient team. They got some returning players. Look for them to maybe make a run. Once you're in it.
Well, the NCAA, they had their Division II tournament. They had made the announcements at around 2:00 today. Westchester is going to be in the tournament, so hopefully they can pull one out here and win again.
Switching over to men's basketball, the team started the regular season this past Saturday with a disappointing loss to Lincoln University. The final score is 69-60. Guys, what do you think of the game?
Well, it was, needless to say, it was pretty disappointing. They played a great game. They were winning, for a pretty long stretch, and then Lincoln just came back.
Yeah, they had a 10-point lead and they blew it. Lincoln went on a 13-3 run, and they wound up pulling ahead and winning the game. So
yeah, they had some star players there. They had Eddie Mitchell and R.J. Griffin, so they did big things. And look for the good guard play working around the perimeter. And they're projected to be the #1 team in the PSAC. So
hopefully,
let's hope that that's a good projection.
Yeah, I hope that actually turns out well for them.
One loss isn't everything, and we've seen with the Heat that they started off a little shaky. So good teams will come around.
Definitely.
Yep. All right. The Lady Rams basketball season also started this past weekend with an extremely close loss to Philadelphia University, 90-87. Brittany Shazinski was the key player of the game, scoring 24 points.
Yeah, hopefully they end up just like the men's team. They're going to be. I'm hoping they're going to be a good team this year. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, it was close the entire game through. They kept going back and forth between who was winning, who was losing. There was a few key points where they wound up missing a lot of foul shots. So
and then
they just
pretty high scoring game too.
Yeah, so hopefully they just keep up the good work and get some wins on the board.
The men's basketball team will be continuing their season this week, Wednesday, at Chestnut Hill College. The basketball team for the women will also be playing this weekend right here at home. It's going to be a good game, I hope. Good seasons.
The men's soccer team lost 3-0 to Mercyhurst this weekend, snapping their 10-game win streak. And they are now 12-3-3 on the season.
And same thing with the women's soccer team. They lost 3-0 to California University of Pennsylvania. They're 13-7, and both teams are just waiting now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean they're waiting to hear back from the committee if they're going to make the NCAA tournament, and when they hear back, maybe they'll make a playoff run.
Yeah, we should actually be hearing soon about that.
Yeah, we'll be hearing back soon about that.
Any minute now.
Eagles won a tough game yesterday, 27-13 against the Green Bay Packers. Obviously, they were a little down with Aaron Rodgers out. Now the Eagles are 5-5. They're tied for first place in the NFC East. Who do you think wins the division?
Well, that's a tough decision. They've been playing great the past 2 games. I mean, Foles has 10 touchdowns in just these 2 games now. He's looking good. The offense is looking like it's starting to mold together. Chip Kelly, all that working out. But it's hard to say. They've had some bad games. You never know what might happen.
How about the 76ers? They're a big surprise this season. They're in first place in the East. Played some really good games, so let's see what happens with the rest of the season.
People were counting them out, and now look at them now.
Yeah,
they're doing great.
I know they're playing the Spurs tonight. That should be a very good game. Spurs are off to a hot start as usual, so
we'll just see how it happens.
I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with that game.
A lot of people thought it was going to be a losing season, just try to get a draft pick, but that's not what no one told them. That it's not the message they got.
Definitely a sleeper team, but let's see what happens with the rest of the season.
Well, that is all for this week's episode of Sports Talk Live. Please watch all our videos on YouTube and share us on Facebook and Twitter. And until next time, take it easy, Westchester.